Well, everybody, this review is on the horror movie Smile. So the plot of this movie is this therapist named Rose Cotter, played by Sosie Bacon, is in the middle of a therapy session when her patient all of a sudden freaks out because she's telling her she she's being terrorized by a group of smiling people, and then she kills herself in front of her, slitting her own throat. And afterwards, Rose becomes traumatized afterwards and goes around, and she's too, because of the event, she also has a bunch of bizarre psychiatric episodes where she's envisioning a lot of smiling people. So she, ironically, is the therapist that needs the therapy. She goes around trying to find out if there's any way to stop it, and it really intervenes with her life, and she really starts to terrify people by having a bunch of panic attacks and whatnot. So she really goes around and tries to get all the help she can. Yeah, I remember around the summer when the trailer for this movie came out, I said I was wanting to see it. Well, unfortunately, if you know my family, I couldn't see it because nobody in my family likes horror movies. But I did see it earlier this year because it hit Paramount Plus, and the movie didn't disappoint. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, it does use a lot of jump scares because that's what lots of horror movies the past decade have been using as a cliche. But here, the jump scares didn't really bother me actually because I think it really helps that the movie's about it's a kind of a psychological thriller horror film, and it's about a woman who's having really bad panic attacks, and she's having lots of terrifying visions, so lots of danger around every corner when that doesn't really happen, intervening with her mind. It actually makes sense. It really does help in this case. And it's a nice twist. Like, I don't know, maybe this idea has been done before, but the idea of the therapist ironically having the mental problems when dealing with trying to help others with those problems, it's kind of a neat idea. And I know it goes to show that not every horror film has to be about demons or possession or monsters. Sometimes going insane into a downward spiral is already terrifying. And I guess, yeah, to be fair, it's about her envisioning a bunch of people making smiley faces, which I guess that is really creepy in of itself because it does have fantasy. I mean, I guess it is kind of fantastical, but maybe not so because I don't know, for lots of people with maybe these severe problems, they could have a lot of panic attacks and mental problems like that. But it is still terrifying regardless, and that really makes it interesting. You don't really see the psychological side of people in horror films much. I mean, I guess there is Silence of the Lambs, and yeah, Silence of the Lambs is a horror movie. I know all you guys say it's a psychological thriller. It's a horror film, okay? Yeah, I think that's really interesting. Like, I mean, I like the fantasy stuff too. I like ghosts and possessions, and like that stuff's pretty fun. Or even like slasher films with psychos. But sometimes your own mind attacking you is kind of a interesting threat. It shows that it doesn't have to be a man versus man scenario. It can be a man versus self scenario. So that's really what made it interesting. And you don't see that much horror films that really take place in, you know, at a therapist's office. And you don't see most of the problems are people with, mental attacks. So that really made it interesting. So it was a unique type of horror movie. I mean, yes, it is structured basically really like a horror movie. It can get really predictable. Like whenever you see the main character like going about somewhere, you can kind of tell she's gonna have like some kind of attack and you know terrify some people with her episodes. But it's still interesting, which I guess maybe the thing is it's really executed well. So yeah, this would have been good on the big screen, but hey, actually, apparently, I read this was supposed to be a Paramount Plus original, but it got a theatrical release because test screenings were so good. And I can understand that. This was a really good horror film. I think it's one of the better ones to come out in the past few years, and there is going to be a sequel next year, I heard. And I don't know. I mean, I think this movie was good on its own, but hey, who knows? Maybe if they come up with a really good story, it could really surprise me. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how that'll be. So, if you haven't seen Smile and if you have Paramount Plus, I'd say check it out. It's a good one to watch before Halloween. I think it's really solid, and I did really have a fun time with it. I thought it was good and thrilling, just like a horror movie should be. So, see you later.